Hi, Alison.
Oh, bonjour and hi. Oh, your English is lovely.
Thank you. Welcome in France.
Oh, merci beaucoup.
I'm very nice to meet you because you're like, you know, an icon for gays and for me, really. It's very, very a pleasure to meet you.
Well, I do get this all over the world. I mean, tout le monde grandit avec la série, so everyone grew up with Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
And I think that Nellie Oleson does have a special place for the gay community.
Yeah.
I meet a lot of people who say, well, I'm too young to follow Judy Garland or Betty Davis, so Nellie Oleson was for your generation.
Yeah. You have been found so in Little House on the Prairie, where you play the role of the bitch. Today the series is still popular. It is the third favorite series in France, before Prison Break and Grey's Anatomy. You really? Yeah, I read it.
Oh, that's
so
hilarious.
how do you explain this success in France?
It's incredible. It's in 140 countries. I mean, I get fan mail from Germany and Poland
Yeah.
and Iraq, Iran and Israel and Argentina.
Iraq.
And yes, it was Saddam Hussein's favorite show.
I know, this is my question.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. But yes, the French really like it, and they do like Nellie Oleson, which is fine with me. I think it's because the show's very emotional.
Yeah.
And the problems of the Ingalls, you know, c'est le même problème pour tout le monde. And I think everyone knows a Nellie Oleson, and everyone has certain days when they feel like Nellie Oleson and want to like let that out.
Yeah. When you were elected, so the first bitch on TV around the world, how did you react?
It's incredible. To have something to be the premier bitch, to be number one in Vanity Fair, and then they keep coming out with these surveys, the sondage sur Internet.
Yeah.
I keep seeing there was a Swiss one, and I was number one, and then there was a recent one, and I was a little disappointed I was number 5, but you know, Sue Sylvester of Glee was number 9, so I'm meaner than Sue Sylvester on Glee. I was really proud of that.
Yeah, from a professional point of view, the role of evil or bitch, has it not been too hard to get other roles?
Well, it's true. I mean, everyone is typecast in Hollywood, and then it's sort of a double-edged sword. It's if you do something really well, everyone remembers the character forever.
Yeah.
The problem is they remember the character forever. And
Right.
they can't believe that you're somebody else. So I did it so well that people believed it and thought that was really me. But that did make it difficult. Now, of course, the nice part is now there's more and more of the bitchy roles, and it's really sort of the age of the bitch. And those are the best parts anyway. So
But
in the long term, it's a good thing.
Yeah, now you are the best friend of the gays, and bye-bye bitch, it's a queen princess! So you said that Saddam Hussein was a fan of the series. My God!
Very strange.
Really?
When I first heard it, I thought, oh, this is a joke. It's the National Enquirer, Saddam Hussein watching Little House on the Prairie. But then I met someone, and she was involved in politics and knew a lot of people, worked in government and CIA type things. And she said, do you know, it's the strangest thing. Little House on the Prairie was Saddam Hussein's favorite show.
God.
I said, so this is true, really. So apparently, that's the thing, is proof that everyone can relate to Little House on the Prairie. But, you know, I have been accused of was I his role model? Is this what went wrong for Saddam?
That's incredible, incredible. According to you, why do you think the series stopped?
Well, the series, it would have gone on and on, but I think the actors eventually were exhausted. I mean, Michael Landon wanted to do another show. He wanted to move on to Highway to Heaven, and so he was doing less and less with the show, and we all grew up, and so they were they had to bring in those other little children who had like the new Laura and the new Nellie, who had Nancy, and things began to change, and I think people like the original stories best, with Laura and Mary fighting, and Ma and Pa, and as it changed, it just really wasn't the same show.
Yeah. You didn't speak a word of French, and you started a tour in France titled Confession of a Bitch in the Prairie, with performances only in small villages in French. Why small villages?
Well, it's incredible. I did. I learned a second language after the age of 40, which is practically impossible. So, yes, je parle français. Non. Oui, le petit village, c'est bien parce que c'est l'esprit de Walnut Grove.
Yeah.
These are the people who are like the people of the prairie. It's out in the country where, you know, le vrai fan, really.
Yeah, it's more real, more not fake.
Right, and it's not snobby, Paris, New York, LA. I mean, yes, I do shows in Los Angeles and New York, but even in the US, for instance, I was just in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which is out on the prairie in the United States. In fact, it's not far from Minnesota where Laura lived. And they went crazy. They were so enthusiastic. And so when you have the real people who are out on the prairie, who really relate to the show, And some of these towns, to have a celebrity from Hollywood, you know, Brad Pitt's not coming. They don't have a lot of famous people just showing up in their town. So to have an entire evening with someone, and after every show, I do, you know, the séance de dédicace pour un, deux, trois. I do like hours of autographs.
Yeah.
And so everyone gets to actually talk to me.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So
people are very happy for this because you are very, very sympathetic after your playings. You're always signing autographs,
like
take pictures. Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is the French public frigid? Because everybody said, "Oh my God, French public is so mean."
Well, I joke about that in the U.S. In my U.S. stand, in fact, I always say that in France they don't think Nellie Oleson's mean; they think she's French. Because maybe it's because of my character that the French like me.
Yeah.
But I found the French to be very, very friendly. I mean, when I first arrived, I thought it was great, and that's why I wanted to come back. And my experiences over the last several years, I mean, this is like becoming my second home. And French people, I think they express their emotions maybe a little more out there than some Americans.
Oh, really?
And that's why Americans are sort of taken aback.
Yeah.
But I'm considered kind of out there by Americans, so maybe I fit in better over here. It's
the first time I hear that the French public is good, but with you.
That's what's so funny with the audiences. You know, in the theater, people say, "Well, how's the audience?" Well, they yell and they scream and they yell things out, and I get standing ovations. And people kept saying, "Isn't the audience in the theater sort of reticent? They stay seated." I said, "No." And they said, "Well, they respond." I said, "Standing ovations." And they said, "You know that French people don't normally do a lot of standing ovations." And I said, "Oh, I didn't know because they do it every night at my show."
That's a good thing.
I thought you gave standing ovations to everybody because you keep getting up out of your seats when I'm there.
Yeah. So today you pick a book which traces your experience and provides revelations about behind the scenes and about your life. Yes. So was it a project that you had at heart from a while?
I've been writing off and on for many, many years and wanted to do. My friends kept saying, "You have to write a book. These crazy experiences you have to write a book." Yeah. And then with the stand-up show being about my life and more stories, I started to write. And then a couple of years ago, a wonderful man, a literary agent, found me and said, "Yes." He says, "Is there a book to go with this show?" And I said, "Yes, there is." And now, not only do I have a hit book in the U.S., I now have a hit book in France.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So you deal with serious topics in this book, such as the fight against AIDS and child abuse. Yes. You've also been a pioneer in the fight of AIDS 25 years ago.
Right.
And you get from Arnold Schwarzenegger to sign a legislation to punish...
I know, which is amazing. Consider now what we know about Arnold Schwarzenegger, that he did something right for once.
That's very, very cool. Tell me more about it. Well, why is these topics more especially?
I started in AIDS because Steve Tracy, who played Percival on Little House on the Prairie, died of AIDS in 1986. Okay. And when he was sick, I started volunteering at the AIDS Project in Los Angeles and manning the hotline, the phones, the Status Bureau. And I got very involved. And then when I saw how severe the problem was and that it wasn't stopping, I continued. And I'm still raising money for different AIDS agencies in the U.S. And trying to educate people because people are still getting infected. People still don't understand that the risk is still there, and it's terrible. And then with child abuse, I had been abused as a child myself when I was a little girl. I talk about that in the book. But I was approached by this wonderful organization that was changing laws. See, in the U.S., we have a thing that you don't have in France. Each individual state has completely different laws from every other state. California, it's like 50 countries in one. So you might have a law in one state that says, yes, a child molester goes to prison. But the next state over, no, it's okay, it's only 2 years. And then here it's absolutely crazy. Yeah. And they had a loophole in the law that if someone molested someone related to them, if it was their own child, if someone sexually abused their own child, they didn't have to go to jail. Yeah, and we said, no, that's insane. And we were able to change that law in several states and in California. And yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's amazing.
Took time off from having sex with the maid to come and sign our bill. So
that's a good victory.
I'm glad that he did that.
So you have played homosexual-related roles in several movies, such as Last Summer at Bluefish Cove.
Yes.
Or Makes You Little Gay.
Yes, Une Noël très très gay you have in here.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the gay, you're an icon. Do you think it's because of your beach side?
I think so. I mean, even before I got involved in AIDS, I noticed that I had a very large gay following. And I think something about Nellie, she had all the beautiful clothes, she had the best hair, she was the rich girl, and she did
a
have
great
sort of imperious
face.
sort of, oh, thank you, sort of bitchy attitude, which if you look at like old movies, it was very sort of Betty Davis. And in fact, the hair, it looks like Betty Davis in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. It's like the Baby Jane movie. And it was the same hairdresser. Our hairdresser, Larry Jeremstar, was Betty Davis's hairdresser. So when he helped design the wig, yes, it does look like Betty Davis, and that's on purpose. That's intentional.
Many serious issues were addressed in the series, such as racism, anti-Semitism, oh, my English.
You said that very well. I'm impressed, yes.
Yeah, really? And drugs. Don't you regret that homosexuality was not mentioned in the series?
It's true. I think if the show had been on maybe 1 or 2 more years, we'd have done it. Because Michael did address every issue. I mean, we had the blind people, we had racism, they had child abuse, alcoholism, everything was addressed on the show. And I think we were getting there. I mean, I was just saying the other day, you could not have had a Neil Patrick Harris 20 years ago. People were just very closeted. But I think it was starting to go that way. I think if the show had gone into the 80s, we would have had an episode with a gay character.
Yeah. I heard that a group of rock is called Nellie Oleson.
Several rock groups. There's Nellie Oleson and Le Vrai Nellie Oleson. They're fighting over the name. Of course, I am the Le Vrai Nellie Oleson. I am the real.
It's
Nellie
your
Oleson.
dirty side.
It's my name. But there's now, I believe, it's 3 in France, 1 in Belgium, all named Nellie Oleson. And of course, Marcel et son orchestre. Marcel has a song, La Famille Ingalls.
Okay.
And the chorus is Les jeunesses aimées de Nellie Oleson. And I love that song.
Yeah.
So yes, the French sing about Nellie Oleson all the time. It's really amazing.
God. And there is also a cruise.
Yes!
Yeah,
oh
a cruise.
You have to come on this. Okay, so in November...
From California to Mexican Riviera.
From Mexican Riviera for 1 week on the Carnival Splendor with the cast of Little House on the Prairie. Almanzo's going to be there, Dean Butler. Miss Beadle, the teacher, Charlotte Stewart.
Yeah.
Almanzo's sister, Eliza Jane, who is also the other teacher, she's going to be there, Lucy Lee. And I'm going to be there. Pam, Roy Lance, Stan, Ivor, Baby Carrie, Baby Grace.
God.
And we're all going to be on the ship, and Dean Butler's going to be showing a documentary about Laura Ingalls that he's making. I'm going to do an evening of comedy, question and answer. We're going to sign autographs and show clips. It's going to be great. It's going to go on for a whole week. And there's a cocktail party, and, an entire week.
Dancing all the night.
Dancing all night, because it's the Carnival Splendor, so there's like a disco and everything. So you're going to party for an entire week on a ship in the Mexican Riviera with the cast.
Yeah, I have to go.
You gotta come
but
to this.
I prefer to, wearing mini shorts.
Well, it's the Mexican
disco.
Riviera, and it does leave from California. So
it's
yes,
gay.
It'll be very gay.
Village people. So thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure, and now you go to the BHB.
I go to sign my book. This is my first book signing in Paris. I'm very excited.
First, I heard there are a lot of people who are waiting for you.
Oh, I'm excited. I usually get a good turnout in the US, so we'll see if the French people show up.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.